He managed 6 victories between 1982 to 1990. 5 of these were at Rio de Janeiro.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to JACKOCAR in Brazil, Interlagos. It's round 9, it's season 9, it's the continuation of the mystery calendar, and I'm really not sure what to think of these guys. We had it listed down as Monaco just to trick the drivers, and then they were all complaining, and then we changed it to Brazil, and they complained more, so I really don't know what they want. You cannot please anybody. Can you, Jess Bull? Good evening.
Good evening. I thought, why not trick them for a few? Why not trip them for a few moments? And they still didn't like it, which is very odd. But you gave them some hints earlier on, and it is Brazil. 36 laps, I believe, as well. Absolutely love this track, and it's already had a staple in Formula One and in JACKOCAR, of course. One season it hosted the Championship 5 race, season 2, and I believe it was Jamie Wright that won the Championship 5 race on that day and went on to become, I believe, a 2-time champion. So I'm trying to think of any other notable seasons, but that was definitely one of them.
That was Jamie Wright's first of 2. He would later on win a year later in Austin, Texas. But yeah, Jamie Wright in that race that Kyle would have been champion if he didn't speed in the pit lane. It's a race that Arnaud would have been champion if he overtook Kyle rather than following him for 30 laps. But it was Jamie Wright, right place, right time, and that is why he got his first of 2, taking over the crown from Pete Knighton, who I'm sure we'll mention tonight at some point. But before qualifying gets going, a couple of changes. There is no Danny Quinn tonight, but there is what's his face, Matt Shepherd. The stages, as picked by Gareth Hall and Mr. Lewis, are lap 4 and lap 31. There is one joker, who is Corey, and first out is Michael Okeke, wherever he is. He's at the top. There he is. A little bit late, but we'll let him get away with that. So once
Okeke... might have been that glitch. It might be that glitch. Yes. It happened last week. It happened last week with me when I was in the box. That it was 17 minutes and no one went out yet, and I think it was around about this time that someone came out. So it is normal for JACKOCAR standards anyway.
Absolutely, and of course, if anyone is going to know the rules, it's going to be somebody like Michael Okeke. Been around since day one, a bit like yourself, a bit like myself. So hopefully he can finally get a good lap on the board, because his qualifying Cup and Kia so far this season has not been to a standard that he would like. Another DNF earlier on in the week. A DNF. No, it wasn't a DNF. It was a DNS last week in Cup Series, but Kia didn't go to plan. We all still hope and pray for the day that Okeke refines his form. Is that day today as we head back to South America and Brazil. What do you think, Jess?
I think this is going to be Okeke's race. He's liked this track before, but it obviously depends on the conditions, of course, and where he finds himself in. But yeah, I think today's going to be his day, in my opinion.
Hopefully so. Let's go on board then with Michael Okeke as he begins qualifying for the Cup Series on a Thursday night. Once again, that's turn 1, turn 2, and into turn 3, commonly known as the centre S's. That will shoot you out into the first DRS zone of the lap. You go under the MSC branding down towards turn 4 and the end of sector 1. But Okeke locks up and runs wide, Lewis Hamilton style, but there was no Max Verstappen to push him off. That is a genuine error. But turn 5 leads you back up the hill towards 6, of course, where Jenson Button made that famous move on, was it Nakajima back in the day? I can't quite remember, Nakajima or Kobayashi. Turn 7 and turn 8, 2 slow, or a slow right-hander and a slow left-hander. Back up the hill again for turn 9. Okeke hooks this one up nicely. Hopefully he does give us a benchmark. Obviously had that area earlier on in the lap, but he will give us something to beat, it looks like, at least, as long as he doesn't spin on the exit here. The left-hander where Hamilton won that title in 2008, and then up the hill for the 3rd time on this lap. Brazil as undulating as ever. DRS wide open as Okeke powers to the line under the Rolex branding. He goes. It's a 1:11.2 to kick off qualifying. Next up is Michel Goris. Jess Bull will guide you through the remainder of his lap.
Yes, I think it's his first Cup race in a long time. He wasn't here the last few weeks, so that is why he's obviously going now. He's a full-time Kia Series driver now, but what can he do in the Cup Series as he goes up to the line? Is he going to set the new benchmark? Yes, he is, with a 109.035. Jordan Lane is up next as he heads towards the final sector as well. Again, he joined a few races ago, but there has been some races where it's been like, what could have been for him? Could tonight also be his night? He's done well around Brazil before. He's purple middle sector, according to the game, but knowing the game, he'll probably lie to me. Past Jung Sao into the DRS straight on the power. Is it going to beat Michel Goris' lap? The answer to that is quite comfortably. 108.7, Jacko.
He's a long way clear, is Jordan Lane. As we're going to move very quickly on to Peter Knighton. Where are you? Down in P16. I didn't see you there. 17 seconds in the first sector. Quick note on Michel Goris. You say he's now full-time in Kia. That's a return to Kia Series. Of course, formidable driver when he was down there previously. He made it to the Championship 5 and lost the title to Jori Hazelaga. But here's Peter Knighton in the middle sector around Interlagos. 138 races without a win. And that's 4.5 years, or let's be fair, 4 years without a title here. I believe JACKOCAR was the last title he did win. It seems so long ago. That was the COVID times, you may recall. But up the hill comes Peter Knighton. It looks fast. Will he top Jordan's 108.7 as he cuts across the pit lane entry? And to the line he goes. Peter Knighton, it's P2. 2/10 off of Jordan Lane's time as we're going to move on now to Sullivan Lewis, who picked the second stage ending. Of course, he's got no front wing. These guys didn't know what track it was going to be, so when they said lap 31, they were all sort of hoping and maybe working out what track it may well have been, but that's an invalidation. Yeah, so never mind, Sullivan. I will hand you over to Jess, who'll guide you through the expertise of Mike Kelterborn.
Interesting fact about Risky, he actually got his first podium in the Cup Series for a long time last night in Spain last week. He had a really good showing as well, finished second ahead of Casper, of course, so some solid points there, so that's why he bounces up the standings. But like you were saying, here's Mike Kelterborn right now as he heads towards the middle sector. Let's see how comfortable he is on the throttle, very technical part of the lap, where you do need quite a bit of downforce around it, but obviously the straight in towards turn 1 and 2, you need some straight line speed, so these drivers will have to balance that. These drivers, again, they haven't had time to prep their setup unless they raced there before on this game, which most of them have, because we have raced here before this game, I believe, in JACKOCAR. Mike Kelterborn then, I think he's going to be around about Speed Knighton, Michel's area, I think, at the moment, but you never know, you can beat Jordan's time. What can it be? Nowhere near Michel's or Pete's time. We're 109.5, Jacko.
Yep, 109.5, and the only German hands over to the first of two Welshmen. It is Jamie Griffiths. There was a petition earlier on in the Cup Series chat to rid the league of all the Welshmen. Of course, you got Jamie Griffiths, Waze Kuber, and Barry Baldwin there down in the Kia Series. And then I just so happened to say, once we've got rid of the Welsh, we can focus on getting rid of the Dutch. But for now, they remain a part of this league. Jamie Griffiths back in his Mountain Dew coloured or inspired vehicle as he goes up to the line. Where does Jamie go? P5 doesn't move on the leaderboard, so he gives way to Waze Kuber, who I cannot find. He's P18. There he is, coming down in towards what looks like turn 4, sweeping left into another left-hander here. Keeps it valid through there as we see Pete Knighton retire from the session following protocol. Up the hill towards 6 comes Waze. Then the league's bad boy certainly has built a reputation over the last few weeks since winning his championship in the Kia Series. So much so that he was exiled from the Cup Series chat by Peter Knighton, who we've just mentioned. By the way, Peter Knighton did not receive a penalty for that, much to the because it was so much requested, let's say. But for now, the focus remains on Waze as he gets through the final real corner of this circuit. Where can he put that blue and silver machine? Is that silver? It's silver enough for me.
It looks silver to me, yeah. It looks silver.
Yeah. P2 and a very good lap from Waze. I'll give you Ben Harrott, who was the last to join the lobby because he forgot we were racing tonight.
On a Thursday, ladies and gentlemen, he thought it was a break week or something like that. So he was minding his own business, and then you had a call saying, "Oh, I'm going to be late now," and then he realised about his slot. But Ben, the midfield man, he's midfield in the table in the standings. What could he do now? That's a very good lap with a 108.627 as he came across the line.
That's not midfield, is it?
It's not midfield now, is it? Next to the first of the two Hasselagers, Yuri Hasselager is up first, and then followed by Leroy. So we'll follow Yuri first as he heads towards Jung Chao. A lot better this season than he was. A lot better than he was a couple of races ago. He finished 10th last week, which was not too bad. Could be better, could be worse, of course. He won in the Kia Series on Tuesday, and he came across the line in P6 for now. So not quite where he needs to be at the moment. Can his brother, Mr. Leroy Hasselager, beat him?
Yeah, you say Yuri finished 10th last week. He was actually disqualified because it was his AI car that finished P10.
Oh, yeah, it was, yeah. I
so
forgot about that. It's been a long time ago.
all 7 days ago. We've had to, there's a big black and white mark next to Yuri's name with DSQ written in it for the Spanish Grand Prix.
He couldn't join back. We tried inviting him, but we just couldn't join.
That sounds like a Dutch internet issue. Not something that bothers me personally as we watch Leroy in the middle sector here. Of course, race winner this season. And also Kia Series champion, don't forget. What was it, season 4, I believe he was victorious down there on a Tuesday night, and has recently done a couple races due to the issues we've been having with numbers. Maybe, there's some say there's going to be some big names back in the Kia Series next season in our final season of Cup and Kia. Leroy, P2, shares the front row with Ben Harrott for now. We'll move on to Arnaud de Grief, who has a qualifying ban. Why does he have a qualifying ban, I hear you ask? I can't even find his name. Oh, he's already retired. Reason for that is because he moved late on the run down to turn 1 in front of Ben Shaw, causing Ben to end his race. So, Matt Shepherd, who has just started his lap. We're going to get the whole lap on board Matt Shepherd. I'll talk you through the first part. Jess will do the second part. Let's go on board then with he likes to call himself an honorary Welshman because he lives on the border there with Wales. But at heart, he is an Englishman, especially when they do well in sporting competitions around the world. Speaking of sporting competitions, we got the Euros coming up, the Olympics this summer as well. So much sport to come our way. But Matt Shepherd keeping it valid through the first part of this lap as Jess Ball will now take over and guide you through the end of his lap.
Heading towards sector 3 now. Very, very tight on entry as well as he heads towards Jung Sao. Plenty of corners around this circuit where people can definitely get it wrong. I think it looks very clean from him, but I think it could have been obviously a lot faster for him. He's held his own in some races in the Cup Series this season, but there's some races there where he's been very unlucky. But this is the track where you can have a little bit of a less of a skills gap. He goes P5 and he's backed my theory completely, right? That he's held his own in qualifying.
That was a very good lap, by the way, don't forget. And then there's no disrespect on Matt at all, but he is a Kia Series driver. That is a solid lap. At this point of the session, he goes P5. There are 7 to go, don't forget, and the first of those is Jake O'Sullivan. Somewhat of a pole master, not the pole record holder. He only has 13 all time, but Jake O'Sullivan not interested in poles so much tonight. It is race number 100, and the last driver to have their 100th race, they won the championship and the race that night. It was Ben Shaw 4 months ago in Las Vegas. Can Jake O'Sullivan, he won't win the championship, but can he win tonight and book himself into the playoffs? He is already there anyway, but he does go fastest. I just thought he'd won at Silverstone, didn't he? The only lap he's led this season is the one that he stole the Grand Prix on the final lap against Corey. Let's move on to Gareth Hall. Here he is.
He wasn't here last week. He was in Ireland for St Patrick's Day for a wedding. That's why he wasn't racing. I think it was one of his first races in the world that he's missed, actually. But he's back now tonight, back with a vengeance, ready to rock and roll, I should say. As Gav goes up to the line, what's it going to be? It's going to be 5th place for Gav, 1 minute 8.7. Not far off the likes of Jordan Lane, Waze, Leroy, quite close near the top.
Yeah.
And I believe it's Ben Shaw next.
Yeah, it is Ben Shaw next, the beginning of the Fast Five, the final 5 here in qualifying. I was going to say something about Gareth, but I've totally forgotten it, so we'll forget about that and come back to it later on. Imagine missing JACKOCAR for a wedding. It's not something I would do. We'll go on board with Ben Shaw. Now, we speak of qualifying masters. Ben Shaw, 2nd all-time when it comes to poles in the league. 20 for him. The record holder is Khalifa, who sits on 26. Can Ben Shaw close the gap as he closes towards the line? P is 7. He's had a shocker. Jake O'Sullivan remains on pole. So attention moves to Kieran Spears, who is in Sector 2 now. And he's repainted his car orange and purple. Not sure on the purple bit. The orange bit's nice. As Kieran Spears, he when it comes to poles, we're talking about poles tonight. Why not? He sits on 6 all time, so he actually has more wins than he does pole positions. Where can he put this purple and orange machine? The young man who did he turn 20 the other day? He had a birthday. That's all I know. As he powers up the hill, DRS open. Kinks the car to the left over the pit lane entrance and over the line he goes. P1 1081. That leaves us with 3 to go. It's Khalifa next. Jess Bull.
Yes, indeed, Khalifa, another person who has hit the all-time record in terms of poles and race wins, but didn't have a good race last time out in Spain as well. I think he got caught up in a few instances towards the end of the race as well, and again he had to pit quite late because there was a late stage at the end of that race as well. So we were getting the same situation as last week, apart from stage 1 is a bit earlier than last week. Stage 2 they're going to have to wait a little bit longer, but Khalifa is definitely also a qualifying merchant, looks to add another one to his tally. Looks clean as so far, purple in both sectors. Is this going to be pole number whatever?
27.
27. And the answer to that is no. And then next we got Corey, who unfortunately DNF last week, and that meant he lost the points lead for this season. He had an incident with Nick in the final corner last week, which resulted in his DNF.
Corey, though, one of only 2 drivers this season with 2 wins, so he again won't be too worried about the pole position situation, as long as you're number 1 at the end of the race, like he has done twice so far this season. He'll be more than happy. He's also tonight's joker is Corey Dalton as we go off board for the remainder of this lap. It's going to be a 1081 to beat, set by Kieran. Imagine that, that'd be fireworks on the front row. Corey and Kieran. Can Corey make that happen? Up to the line. Where does he go? Only P5. Wow, look at that top 5 for the minute. That's fantastic. But we must focus on the final man, the Flying Finn. Apparently the happiest country in the world. But I'm not sure that's entirely correct, because Casper Klein is the most miserable man in the world. Only when it goes wrong, though. How many...
It went right for him last week.
It went all right with him last week with the race win. I was trying to think how many he's had this season. Is he the other one who's had 2?
Yes, that's correct. He won in Baku and he won in, obviously, last week.
Okay, so Casper looking to make it free for the season. He's the only man to get a toe up the hill. Can he do anything with it? Casper over the line is P4, which puts Kieran on pole for Brazil. He'll be side by side with Jake on the run down to turn 1. Khalifa and Casper in behind them, and then Ben Harrott and Corey Dalton on row 3. Look at the big names that aren't up there, though. Ben Shaw down in 11th, Pete Knighton in 13th, and Michael O'Keke and Arnold 18th and 19th at the bottom there. What a shame for those, but the top 6 is very excited. It's good to see the midfield man back up the front as well. Ben Harrott there in P5.
Yes, I think that was the driver I kept my eye on in this qualifying session, because I felt like he did a very good lap compared to what you would expect. So pretty decent, of course. And I think obviously apart from Arnold, who didn't set a qualifying lap due to his qualifying ban, only one person invalidated, and that was Risky. I'll go through your qualifying order whilst she does the screenshots.
I don't need him for this, Jess. I'll tell you what, I'll do it because I like...
Cool. Okay. Okay, cool.
You'll like this. So we got Kieran, Jake, Casper. Oh no, Khalifa then Casper. So and then Ben Harrett, Corey, Leroy, Jordan, Gareth, and Waze. And then what do we say about the bottom 10? Are you familiar with what I usually say about the bottom 10?
They're irrelevant.
They're irrelevant. They're rubbish. We're not even going to mention them. So that's your roundup. That was Kieran's 7th pole all time. It's his 8th playoff point this season. And of course, we've not even mentioned the club card shootout, have we? Let me get that information up. Otherwise, we're going to be in the wild, Jessica.
I literally can't remember who got through out of those last week.
I got it. So this week is the semi-final. So the two that advance this week will go head-to-head for the 6 or 7 playoff points, whatever it is. In the, let's say, the Western Conference, you've
6.
got... Is it 6? Okay.
Yeah, it was 6 in Kia last season, I know that.
Okay, so on the west side, you've got Kieran Spears, the pole sitter, versus Jamie Griffiths. And then on the Eastern Conference, Arnaud de Grief, who starts from the back, with Sullivan Lewis, who starts from the back. So they are the 4 drivers in contention for the club car shootout. And whoever wins out of Kieran and Jamie, and then Arnaud and Sullivan will go head-to-head next week in... I'm not going to reveal the track.
You nearly did, didn't you?
No. I do it on purpose. But it is, I can tell you now, it's a good track. That's all I can say.
Oh, I can't wait for next week already. But we still got this week first. I'm going to make my predictions. So I did well last week. I think I got 3 out of 4. The only one I didn't predict was, I think, Waze and Risky, where I predicted Waze to win, but Risky got a podium. So, but I think Kieran's going to win out of Jamie, and I don't know about Arnaud and Risky. I think that's going to be the one to watch. I'm going to go with Arnaud to face Kieran next week. That's my prediction. You may think differently, but I don't know.
I think I'd have to go Kieran on that, the Kieran versus Jamie one. When it comes to Arnaud Sullivan, there's already been an incident. I think I might just back on form Mr. Lewis. Something in this race. It's a long race. It's a short track. Something is telling me Sullivan Lewis is going to get the better of Arnaud de Grief, and look at them right next to each other at the back of the grid. This is going to be a fireworks, so keep your eyes on No 2. I'll be sure to point the cameras towards them as much as we can when it is relevant. And as we go up the order, in front of them you've got OKK and Jamie Griffiths. Jamie Griffiths, of course, against Kieran, who is P1, Jamie in P17. And then you have Mike Kelterborn, the German, and then the Dutchman of Jori Hazelager, followed by his countryman of Michel Goris. Pete Knighton is 13th. M. Shep is sat on the grid. Ben Shaw in a sat on the grid sandwich, because Waze is also there, as Jori. Is that Jori or Gareth? That's Jori making his way to the front, along with Gareth.
Like they always do.
Like they always do. Then there's Jordan and Leroy from the Netherlands. Corey the Joker, P6. Ben Harrod is 5th. Casper from Finland is P4. Khalifa from Bahrain is P3. Jake O'Sullivan from Bishop Stortford is 2nd. And Kieran from the shitty town of Aylesbury is P1. And we are moments away from getting this Brazil race underway.
Yes, and Kieran and Ben potentially, if they don't win tonight and still get a podium, they could potentially still qualify to the playoffs on points based on the standings. After last week, they're 36 above the cut-off line, Kieran Spears. Ben Shaw plus 23, so if they basically finish inside the top 5, I would say they have a good chance of qualifying on points without needing to win a race.
They're going to be all right, I reckon, because obviously
they will be.
Danny Quinn is not racing, and he's 6 points clear of Jori Hazelager. 6 points is an 11th place finish, by the way. What is Gareth Hall doing here? Is that his space? It's not.
Oh,
It's not.
has he gone in the wrong space?
Yes, he has. There's his correct space.
I thought thought the game
So-
was disqualifying, but anyway.
No, apparently
Yeah.
not. Anyway, it's time to get going in Brazil. Look at Kieran's positioning. What on earth is going on there? We're waiting for the lights. We might be waiting for the servers. The lights have gone out on our screens, and there's a VSC to begin the race straight away. So we're under full course yellow, but what happens down into turn 1? Kieran leads from Jake, but I don't think they're at racing speed. There's a collision behind with Jamie and Yuri. They're not at racing speed, are they?
No, they're slowing down.
This
That
could...
is very odd.
This could be a lobby restart.
Yes, I have seen a lobby before where it started with a full course safety car and nothing else happened.
What we'll do is we'll carry on like this for the minute.
Wait
And-
until I think end of lap 2, and if it's still VSC after the end of lap 2, just restart.
Yeah. So there's nothing really to commentate on. We'll guide you through the tyres. Jordan, Waze, Matt Shepherd and OKK all on the softs. And there's a handful, and by a handful I mean 16 others that are on mediums. But yes, the VSC has remained out. There we go. We are now green flag racing, and I think Jake was more alert than what Kieran was as we head up to end the first lap. I think Jake has definitely got a hell of a run here on Kieran. He'll be using a little bit of ERS to try and get this move done before turn 1. Can he do anything with it? He looks to the outside of Kieran. He's going to defend it. You know what Kieran's like. These two have a little bit of history, and Kieran retains the inside and makes Jake O'Sullivan run a little bit wide, which puts Khalifa on his gearbox. Where's Casper in all of this? You see him there over the rear wing of Khalifa as they run down now towards turn 4. Exciting scenes early on as we get another yellow flag, but this time it's for Michael Okeke, who is in the centre S's. We'll go back to the front. Kieran leads from Jake and Khalifa and Casper in 4th. Ben Harrett retains P5th, and he has Corey for company behind him, who is actually dropping back because there's Ben Shaw, who started, you may remember, P11. Great start from him as he now finds himself up to 7th. Jess Paul.
Yes, Ben Shaw's already making his way down as well. I think that helped with that VSC, and he was able to get going straight away. Wade has also had a good start as well. He's passed Risky into P11. I think Risky got that 5-second penalty under VSC, but we will look obviously at the footage after the race to see if that's removable or not. I don't think it is, but we'll see. Ben, interesting enough, has not used much of his ERS, but the one who has, Ben Harrett, used about 40% as Gareth made his way past Risky.
Hold on, I was going to draw your attention to turn 1 and 2 where Jake O'Sullivan and Khalifa are going right at it. Jake O'Sullivan gave Khalifa racing room and no more as he nudged him out wide at turn 1. Of course, you may remember season 3 where Pete Knighton moved for the lead here. There goes Jake O'Sullivan, and through he goes on Kieran Spears for the race lead here in Brazil. Who's going to come back at him, is he? Up the hill they go. Jake has the inside, turns in earlier, but Kieran, is he going to stay with him? No, he has to concede this time around. Looks to the inside, but it won't be enough. Yellow flags fly once again. I'll go back to my story. Pete Knighton pushed Khalifa off the circuit in season 3, or season 2 it might have been, and picked up a penalty for it, but Jake O'Sullivan this time gave him the room, unlike Pete Knighton, who did not, and the VSC is out for the second time.
I think that was, I think it was Shep that had a bit of a moment. He got a 3-second time penalty for it as well. And we had OKK, who had a bit of a spin in turn 1 like he did on the first lap. So those two having a bit of trouble. So is Arnold, of course, but still no pitters as of yet though. So they've all got damage free right now, which is a lot different than what we could say last week. DRS enabled then, and we got a battle for the lead once again as Kieran Spears almost got the move into turn 1 on the inside, couldn't quite do it. And we got Khalifa not that far behind too, but Kieran's going to have the DRS enabled.
Oh, look at this.
The slipstream, this is brilliant. I'd say doing banging balls. This is allowed in JACKOCAR, remember, as he heads towards turn 4. Kieran gets the job done, and he leads the Brazilian Grand Prix.
A heart-in-mouth moment there for young Mr. Spears as Jake did the same as what Khalifa did to him a lap earlier and put Kieran right to the wall, and there was only room for a car and nothing else, but Kieran balls are still as he fights his way through on the inside on the run down to turn 4. He now leads this race. Fantastic stuff. And I hope this continues long into the race, because we now have a 5-way fight. It's Kieran, Jake, Khalifa, Casper, and Ben Harrett has made himself known on this leading train as he starts to gap. But Ben Shaw and Corey, Ben Harrett goes around. What a shame. Yellow flags are out once again. And that will promote the other Ben and Corey and Waze and Jordan. What about Pete Knight? And he's going to get him easily. Up into the top 10 goes Pete, along with Gareth. Now into the top 10 for the first time this evening. Kieran leads another lap here in Brazil.
I think Ben was very lucky he didn't have an unsafe rejoin there, because there could have been chaos if Ben had a bit of a moment. But he's under pressure from Risky now. His tyres must be absolutely cooked currently, as he's been passed by Risky now. But I think Ben's going to challenge him once again. Ones you would expect to be near the front, but they're near the back now because they had some trouble, as Ben is staying at 11th, maybe not. Yes, he is staying at 11th, pushing wheels from himself and Risky. Yellow flag, that I believe that was for Yuri, who's at the moment in turn 4.
And Risky, who's only one position ahead of Arnaud. Of course, that's where he needs to be to advance in the club card shootout. But back to the front, by the way, Kieran did lead the end of lap 4, so he now has his 9th playoff point of the season. The playoff point for stage 1 is what he would like. He's also leading the most laps led. He has a point as well for leading a lap. He's racking them all up this evening. Will we get our first clean sweep, as he has found half a second on Jake O'Sullivan, who will come back at him down on the run into turn 1 they go. Jake is going to take his time with this one as he finds his braking point, but Kieran seems to have the better traction on the exit. And are those rear tyres just starting to slip on the back of that 25 car? What about Khalifa? Can he go through on the inside of Jake? But Jake powers clear and retains P2. He gave Khalifa a lot more room, and it shows that there's a lot more respect between those two. Of course, I think he fought Kieran a little bit harder because Saudi Arabia Season 6 springs to mind. And what about Casper? Just sat there enjoying P4 at the minute, enjoying what's happening in front of him. Yellow flags for Michael Okeke at the rear of the field. He's not far from being lapped as it stands. What a shame for him. We'll keep you updated if that develops into anything. But yeah, Ben Shaw now starting to join this fight after the dismissal of Ben Harrett and his tyres, where he spun here just a lap ago. So can Ben make a name for himself in the top 5? Corey is, I wonder if he's either struggling or just thinking about what he's doing. Obviously on the Joker, he doesn't need to get involved in any fights. He's got a nice gap to Waze behind, who is the lead soft tyre runner. In fact, he's fighting Pete Knighton. Yeah, no, Pete Knighton is now the lead soft tyre runner as they make a little bit of contact. We see Michael Okeke pit as well on the upper side of your screens.
We got Jake O'Sullivan, who's going to pass Kieran into turn 4. Yep, he makes a move stick. He's up into second place, and Khalifa now leads this race. But will he be able to lead this lap? We'll have to wait and see. I'm watching Jake's ERS. He's got 8% ERS left, so he's used quite a lot just to pretty much stay in this fight, whereas the likes of Khalifa, he's got plenty, so is Casper as well. So Jake and Kieran are pushing just, I think, a little bit too much, and they've got to avoid this, because otherwise it's going to be people like Ben Shaw, like Casper, like Khalifa that's either going to pull away or try and close in on you. So we'll see on that front. I'm a bit surprised to see most people start on mediums. I thought quite a few people start on softs.
What do we know, Jess? We drive in Kia. Anyway, it's Khalifa that leads the way. Yeah, Khalifa will pick up a playoff point, and his first lap led of the evening, lap 7 that is for him, as we saw one of the front runners pit. Am I correct? Jordan Lane.
Yes, Jordan is in.
And yellow flags come out for Michael. No, yellow flags come out for...
It is Mike Okeke, I think. Or was it Mike?
I think it might have been the other Mike. Yeah.
It was Mike Helsborn, yeah.
Getting back up to speed is the German. So back to the front we go, unless there's anything else happening. There is actually. It's Jordan and Michel because of a pit stop. We're going to work our way up through the field, risking Arnaud. Still side by side, risking the wall. And that's going to be a safety car.
There is a safety car.
I joined at the right time there.
You did. You know what this means, though. We got our first finalist in the club car shootout.
Yep, we sure do. Arnaud advances from the club car shootout. He could retire on track now, and he is safe. So it means all of our attention... no, just because he made it further into the race.
Right, okay.
So what it means is our only battle now is Kieran versus Jamie Griffiths, who has made his way up to P11. But there is a safety car out on track. So what will the leaders do? Khalifa tries to dupe Kieran into pitting, and he stays out.
Casper is in. He's usually the man who likes to stay out for a safety car stop, so I was expecting him to stay out, but he's on mediums, and I think he wants to be on another set mediums for quite a bit. So is Pete Knighton, Gavin as well, Ben Harrett. I think we could see quite a few people coming in, but with the stages so late, if I was them, I would stretch up my first lot of mediums for a little bit longer, I would say, then do another set of mediums and then go on softs at the end. That would be my strategy. That's hard tyres for Speed Knighton, Garethall and Ben Harrett.
Yep, and Waze and Leroy as well, who are already on them. The question remains, though, it's lap 9, but we've had a genuine VSC and obviously the VSC that started the race. So have we actually lost one from the allocation? So maybe it's more of a gamble it would be to not pit under safety car. As you see, Jake, Ben and Corey have not. Khalifa, who did, comes out P5 and is not your net race leader. It doesn't matter so much for Corey, who's the joker. So he is your race leader as it stands. And it's Jake and Ben who are hoping and praying then early doors on a later safety car. But we will see that unfold as we are now 1/4 of the way through this race. As we see what looks like a pitting. I've been fooled. I thought I saw a car coming in.
I thought I saw a car coming in, but they were literally, I think, taking the shortest run possible.
Yeah, they were running the white line. But it is another lap led for Jake.
The people got told off for that in F2 and F1 Academy in Saudi. They got told off for doing that. For dummy.
But we are not F1 and F2 because we are above that rubbish.
We can do that in JACKOCAR. Yeah.
We do what we want.
Yeah.
So yeah, let's take a moment just to have a drink. That's what I'm going to do, because nothing is happening, and we've already given a rundown of what has happened. So I'll be back in a jiffy.
Me too.
Well, folks, don't forget to hydrate. That's exactly what I've just done. As the camera follows Arnaud de Grief round here in Interlagos, the Belgian who come into this race with a qualifying ban, has already advanced to the club card shootout, won the opening race of the season, and will now lead away, or not lead away, but will come off this safety car period in P4 behind what appears to be Michael Okeke, who's in the train. So expect Okeke to pit to get out the way. I'm surprised he didn't do it a lap earlier. But the restart is under the control of Jake O'Sullivan. And out of interest, I'm just going to turn on the telemetry. You can see the speed there. He's averaging 70 miles an hour. That's not what we had in Kia Series the other night as Okeke pits. We had 28 miles an hour on that final restart. Jake O'Sullivan leads away in Brazil from Ben Short, who didn't get caught out, but that is the advantage of restarting. And let's see what Ben and Corey and Arnaud and Khalifa and Casper and Kieran can all do. Kieran, by the way, is the big loser in that as he comes out P7.
I think he's dropped back from Khalifa and Casper. So Khalifa and Casper had a good restart, of course. And we saw, I think, Pete also being the big loser because he got a 5-second penalty for ignoring yellow flags. And I'm not quite sure what that yellow flag was.
Oh, Pete gets turned into the wall. And somehow, Jess, he's not out of this race. But that was Jamie Griffiths up the inside of Pete Knighton. And how on earth he didn't collect the wall on the inside there, I'll never know.
That was lucky.
But they will not be happy with the manoeuvre from Jamie Griffiths, who now finds himself in P8 without anybody around him. and that was almost an airplane accident. What a crash that was. What's going on up front?
There we got the three ERT boys fighting with each other.
Oh, and another spin further down, and this time it's Leroy and Yori who connect. And you're saying Jamie Griffiths is involved. Yes, he is, but he's losing out to Michel Goris as he almost gets collected into the wall himself this time around. And I think there may be a pit stop happening here. Yes, there is for the Welshman. He comes in to get away from the speed drivers. MK Bourne and Matt Shepherd having their own fight down towards turn one. Who comes out on top here? Pete Knighton getting involved as well. Mike up the inside, retains position. Matt Shepherd won't like that, but through goes Pete Knighton into turn two. And Matt Shepherd loses 2 for the price of 1. What a shame for him after a brilliant qualifying. And now Jordan and Gareth and everybody's all fighting. Look at this offboard shot because Ben Harris in the middle of this. Waze is involved and Jordan as well. And Matt Shepherd through on Mike Kelterborn, who's had an issue. He's facing the wrong way. What a shame for him. Rejoins in front of Leroy, who's had his own issues. And this safety car train, that what was a train, has all been broken up since the car went in. And up front, it's all quite calm as Jake leads away from Ben. But behind them, as you got Corey Khalifa, Casper Kieran, all following line astern. Jess Bull.
I think the top 6 are pretty much on a league of their own compared to everyone else right now, but Arnau could have a say in this as well if any of the drivers in front have a bit of a moment. But Khalifa and Corey now going to have a battle as well. Caspar Fish is going to sit very pretty behind as Arnau pits, so he wants to avoid all this traffic and get some clear air as well. But Khalifa stays ahead of Corey and Caspar, but that was a very good fight. Casper's going to challenge Corey into turn 4. One of the two drivers fighting for the regular season crown come next week as well. They got enough points to do so. Casper's on the fight back up the hill through turn 5, and I think he's got the down. Look at Kieran. Through turn 6.
And if he can hold it around there, that'll be impressive, but has to yield. Yeah, he has to yield to Corey in the end. Thank you, Jess. Sorry to interrupt, but
no
brilliant racing all around the grid. I'll tell you who's making progress still. It's Corey looking at Ben Shaw now. You are correct. And around goes Ben Shaw. He's had a moment. He's in the infield and he'll recover. Rejoins safe enough. Jordan Lane promoted to P6, but this is going to put Waze right on the back of Ben, who makes a rare error. How much room does Ben leave the Welshman? Don't expect it to be too much. Up the main straight they go. DRS activated on Waze's car. He goes very wide and Ben Shaw gives him all the room. That was a move he saw coming. You'd like to think Ben will get it back. Further down you see Michelle and Ben Harrah and Gareth all fighting away still. Good to see these guys going at it. Pete Knighton recovering as well. Let's go back to Ben Shaw, who is all over Waze. He certainly will be down into turn 4. Does he make a move here? No, he does not. He thinks better of it as Waze runs slightly wide. That will entice Ben Shaw to make a move, perhaps on the outside of turn 6, question mark. Becomes the inside. No, he's going to wait his moment here with Waze, as we see Casper now in P3, starting to close on Jake O'Sullivan in front of him. Khalifa leads the race here on lap 14.
Yeah, we made the move into turn 1 on the last lap as well on Jake O'Sullivan, so they both switched positions, but Khalifa's falling a big gap to Jake O'Sullivan towards this lap, so that's going to allow the likes of Casper to close in on Jake O'Sullivan. He's actually quite close to him now with the DRS. He's got plenty of battery as well. I think both of them have got even battery, so this is going to be, I think, an even playing field for him. Casper going the outside line into turn number 1, and he breezes past Jake and up into second. Casper on the fresher tyres, Jake on 14 lap old mediums. I think the fresher tyres is helping the likes of Casper right now. Same with Waze as well, whereas the likes of Jake, Corey and Ben are struggling on 14 lap on mediums. Obviously Corey on his Joker, so he's going to have to pit later on, whereas everyone else is going to have to wait a little bit.
Yeah, Corey actually really struggling, or Jordan Lane is just having a very good race. Don't forget, this is a race that fresher tyres, but it is a race that Jordan won, or nearly won, a couple seasons ago. It was the one and only win for Christian Hataro, and he stole the win off of Jordan Lane with a fantastic strategy that worked out for him. We really do miss Christian in this league, full of some special moments. One of the cult drivers, if you will. but perhaps Jordan Lane is on his way to a glorious day here in the sunshine of Sao Paulo as he powers away from Corey. I don't think Corey is thinking what he's doing. I think he's just genuinely struggling.
Sorry to cut you, Jacko. Casper's in the lead. He got past Khalifa into turn 1. I think they're going to be DRSing each other to make sure Kieran does not touch them. As Ben Shaw's in the pit, Jacko.
Thank you. Keep talking. And the only reason I say that is because I had to do a quick VAR check. Casper led that lap. We stay on board with Khalifa. Casper leads lap 15. I do keep up so that I don't have to do all this watching of the race afterwards. But yeah,
that's what I did last week.
It's so much easier. And
I know.
Here is Kieran, who leads from Jake O'Sullivan. Those two have fallen away a little bit.
I wonder if those two are in a party and working out what they need to do to make sure Kieran doesn't get a slice of the lead, I think.
They definitely will be. They definitely will be.
So if it's not me in the party with Casper, it's usually him with the ERT boys, which he's settling in fine to that team. I don't think Casper's going to fight this one though if he's not. They are definitely DRSing each other and gaining a lot of time because of it. And Khalifa now leads. I don't know who led that lap there, but Corey's in the pits for his one and only stop. He's into the end of this race now. Of course, it stays like this.
I'm just watching Ben Harrah and Michelle make contact in a straight line. And by the way, it was Khalifa that got lap 16. But through goes Ben Harrah, but Michelle will now have the DRS. Both of these have pulled away from Gareth there in P9. P9 back up to 11th. And what else is going on? Who can we see? Is it Pete within half a second? I don't know what that is. Half a second of teammate Jori Haselager. And I remember, I've not said this for a long time, but there are no teammates in JACKOCAR. Your friends, Jess Ball, are where?
My friends, what?
Oh, Jess doesn't know the saying. Your friends are where you find them. Small lag spike there from, I assume, Jori with his Dutch internet. Where can we go next? Corey, who's come out behind Ben Shaw. This is going to be an interesting one. At some point, of course, Ben Shaw will have to make another pit stop, but we won't see that until lap 32 at the very earliest. Let's go back to the front then. Casper in front of Khalifa.
So I think they must have made a pass into turn 1 that we didn't see, of course. And it looks like Khalifa's going to make a pass again into the Cena de Lago in turn 4. Kieran has closed in on these two, though. So they've got to get a move on as Michel Goris gets past Ben Harrah up to 7th.
That's an ongoing fight, that one.
A decent race.
Yes, he is, but don't talk too much, otherwise he'll put it in the wall. You know what he's like.
Yeah.
I wonder if he can get close to Waze. Jordan also having a very good race. He's closing in on Jake O'Sullivan, by the way. 2-time champion in his 100th race. And I want to correct myself earlier. I said the last person to have their 100th race went on to win that race, being Ben Shaw. I was wrong. The last person to have their 100th race was the man behind him, Jordan Lane, who now is in his 102nd race here in the Cup Series. Here comes Khalifa, leading lap 18. What does Casper do this time around? I don't think there'll be a pass. No, Casper lifts off, which will give Kieran maybe a tenth and a half. But he has certainly closed up to these two, hasn't he? As we see Michel get past Waze. Where is Waze? He's given him all the room in the world.
And Ben Harrett's right on this as well.
Not quite.
No,
Waze,
he's not in this as
he's
well.
not. No, Waze is trying to go down the inside of Michel. And that's a good move done from young Waze. Might have picked up a warning on the outside there, but Michel Goris is going to try and come round the outside of the Welshman. Not enough room there, sir. Have another go down the inside of 6. Will he lunge? He won't. Waze has retained P6 here. OKK gets a 5-second penalty for ignoring the blue flags. Another miserable day for him. And let's go back to the front. Casper, Khalifa, Kieran, the 3Ks. I won't say it in a different way. They lead the way. Jess is saying Waze.
Waze and Ben Howard were going side by side into the final part of the first half of the final sector, and they were going side by side for a long time there. They're going to go side by side again. Michelle Gorreese is there as well. Gaff is in there too. There's 4 cars in a battle for P6 on track. Someone's got to back off it, but this is great racing. Ben Howard's up to 6th. Gareth is up to 7th.
Gareth would have loved every bit of that, Gareth. That's his type of racing right there. And Gareth making up 2 positions. It was nearly 3. Arnaud to get past Pete further down. And Waze is the big loser. He's now 3 positions down on where he was a lap ago. What a shame for him. And will Ben Harrett try and push away, or will Gareth try and stay with him? He did drop off the pace a little bit earlier on. Khalifa, meanwhile, leads from Casper up front. Jake has dropped away. Jordan not quite within the DRS of him yet. And I feel like now we're all just waiting for the pit stops. There is a little bit of action here. A little bit of history, in fact, here. Arnaud and oh no, sorry. Pete lost out. Never mind. Forget me. It was Arnaud, Pete and Khalifa that were in that contention for that race win all those years ago. And why do we have a safety car, Michael OKK? Yes, we do.
Yeah, I think he at the moment lost his front wing. Yeah, he's got no front wing.
Look at the state of his car as well. There's dirt all over that. He has been in the wars today, has young Michael, as we see Jake O'Sullivan make his first pit stop. Ben Harrett will join him.
Softs.
Yeah, that's going to be a push now, isn't it, to the end of the stage. So they will be rapid on this restart, because you saw how fast Jordan was on those fresh mediums. And Pete Knighton, that's a silly penalty to pick up.
Yeah, that is. I think quite a few drivers who have nothing to lose will probably pit now, get off those hard tyres and go on to either mediums or softs. Ben Harrett goes on softs, so is Arnaud de Grief. Everyone else has gone on medium tyres, but you can get the softs to around about lap 31, but some people want to be on the more durable tyre. Jake, the leading soft runner, he's going to be trying to take advantage of that. So will the likes of Ben Harrett. And also Jamie Griffiths has gone on to set up the soft compounded tyres. The top 6 have not stopped, because obviously the stage is not till the end of lap 31, so they can't pit until the end of lap 22 for that stage to count. As a KK comes in on hards. I'm guessing to serve one of his penalties, so that's why he's coming.
One of his many penalties. You'll notice that the camera is focused on Corey Dalton, down in P9, but your net race leader. Of course, the Joker, meaning he only has to do the one stop here. And look at all those penalties on the right, the left-hand side of your screen. It's disgusting. Corey.
Matt Shep. 11 seconds.
Oh, I'm not worried about Matt Shepherd. Corey Dalton. He, I don't know if his safety car favours him. It may be out a little bit too early for him to really benefit from it. But we will see. I've been wrong before. It's an interesting top 5. It's a top 5 that Gareth has somehow made his way up to. And we'll have a look at the stops. There you go. Everyone 10th down has made at least 2. The only one with 3 is Michael. And then everyone up front has made 1 stop. So those guys, the top 8, are the ones who all have to pit again from lap 32 or after. And bear in mind, there's only 36 laps where you can pit, so it could be a messy end to this race. We could...
Imagine if we get a safety car.
We could get one of those classic JACKOCAR endings. But I'm not going to say anything. We're just going to sit back and enjoy these moments as we lose Pete from this race for the... How many times is that this season? Let me count. Pete Knighton, where are your most stats? That's his 6th retirement from 9 starts. Oh dear. So the streak continues. It's 139 races without a victory for Peter Knighton. He'll be back next week at whatever track we go to. And well, let's move the camera to somebody we've not spoken a lot about. Matt Shep. He's having a bit of a Jacko race, isn't he? You know, when I have my handful of races in the Cup Series, I sort of linger in the top half of the teens and then still a top 10. That's maybe how it's going for Matt Shepherd.
Wait for Carnage to happen.
This is it. Wait for all the idiots to take each other out, and then bang, there you are, top 10, son. You got the two.
That was me in Portugal, I think, a couple of seasons ago, where there was a bit of trouble and I somehow sneaked the top 10. or was it Hungary? I can't remember. It was one of the two.
Oh, I can't remember. We've had far too many races.
I was in Cup. Yeah, a long time ago.
Well,
As Mike's got a change of front wing.
This, by the way, is the 142nd Cup Series race. Brought to you, of course, by Premier Inn. It's the two Haselager brothers, 15th and 16th. And there is Mike with his new wing and Michael Okeke, who I can only assume is a lap down now. What an awful, awful race. I'm going to move away from him for the moment. He is a lap down as well, isn't he? That is correct.
He is a lap down, yeah.
Yeah. So let me keep up with the laps led. 21, 22. Khalifa will also get 23. Puts him in the lead of the most laps led with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 so far today. Jake has 6, Kieran has 5, and Casper has 2. And of course there are 4, well, technically 13 more to play for. If you discount this one, which Khalifa will restart for us in a moment.
Yes, he will lead this one, but I know Casper and Kieran will be hungry for it as well. We'll keep an eye on the likes of Jordan Lane as well, who got here because he had some good pace in general as well. We said keep an eye on Jordan Lane, but I think the top 3 is the drivers to watch out for on this restart, and also Jake O'Sullivan. But Khalifa, I think, I thought he went early for a minute there, but no, he's got a gap between himself and Casper.
He's gone now, and Casper squirms when he puts the power down, so that means the attention must look at Kieran Spears, who is without a race win this season. Gareth's up the inside of Jordan Lane. Good move for him. Fantastic stuff from Gareth, as we see further back. Waze and Jake and Ben Shaw all getting involved with each other. Here goes Ben Shaw, bump drafting Waze down the straight. He's got Corey on his left, Waze on his right. What happens into turn 4? Corey overtakes Ben and looks at the inside of Waze. Is there enough room? Yes, there is. Corey makes up 2 positions, massive, and Ben Shaw's going to lose out to, who is that? Arnold is now outside, and Ben Harrett is, Waze goes around, and contact. There's a mess here. That was not Waze's fault. I don't think it was Waze's fault, and there'll be no safety cars. We'll get away with that.
So we had 2 safety cars and 2 VSCs so far.
And does that include the one on the lap 1?
That includes the one on that one, yeah.
Okay, so we could have one more in us. Gareth, by the way, has now lost P4 to Jake O'Sullivan. And Khalifa powers his way up the hill to lead another lap then, here in Brazil.
3 tenths of the gap now between himself and Casper. I don't think Casper's going to fight too much. They're going to carry on where they left off last time out, a few laps before the safety car obviously was deployed when they were doing that. Jordan and Arnold and Gareth having a fight for P5. We also got Corey in there as well. Corey wants to get past Jordan. His joke will be meaningless. Through turn 4 they go, and Gareth keeps a hold of P6. Corey did not get the job done there, but that could have been Jordan's for the taking, but he's on 17-lap-old mediums. Leroy Haselager's in this as well, trying to get past Ben, which he does. Jamie Griffiths also passed Ben up to 10th. There's action going everywhere. It's crazy. It's great stuff, mainly for the midfield. The ones near the front just keeping calm for now, but I know the driver that doesn't want to keep calm, wants to get some moves done, is Jake O'Sullivan as he tries to get past Kieran Spears, Jacko.
Thank you very much. You'll notice I just let you carry on and talk there because I couldn't keep up with it. The one thing you might have missed is Gareth almost putting Arnold into the wall, but they got away with it, and now Arnold into the top 5 from the back of the grid. Khalifa leads another lap, and it's from Casper, Kieran, Jake, and Arnold behind him. Gareth runs P6, but he's not detached. He is very much there. Oh no, he pits. Where is he? He's there. Sorry, I'm seeing things. It's the old age. But Arnold is looking the most racy out of the 5 here. I'm going to hand back to Jess.
Yeah, he does look racy, doesn't he? But we got a battle for the lead as Casper gets past Khalifa, up into the lead as Jake... Oh, it's Kieran spun!
Kieran goes around.
I wonder if Jake and Kieran made a bit of contact there. It was hard to tell from the camera angle, but that allows Arnold to bump into 4th place, and he's going to chase down Jake O'Sullivan for P3 down the inside, and he's through.
Elbows out on Arnaud. He's now looking at the back of his ERT teammates then. Khalifa first. Casper after him. Down the inside goes Arnaud. Can he make this one stick? Yes, he can. Arnaud's on a charge. What a move that is on his teammate Khalifa. Can he go and get Casper before the end of the lap?
It's going to be tight, but he's on the nice tyres, which I think will only last, for a few more laps before it's optimal. So he's going to try at least. Will Casper?
He is. He's going for it. Arnaud to the lead in Brazil, and will lead and pick up a playoff point. It's lap 26 for him. He is the fastest man on track right now, and he needs to make use of these moments because Corey does not have to pit again. It means Arnaud is net P2 as it stands, and look at him pull away from Casper. It's lap 27. It's all kicking off behind. Down the inside goes Jake O'Sullivan on Khalifa. Through he goes. Ben Shaw's out of this race. Safety car. No. We're going to play on, are we? Sid is out. Safety car is out.
No, it's
Wait
not.
for it. Yes, it is. It's in the pit lane on my screen.
No, that's Ben Shaw's car.
Is that Ben Shaw's car? I take it all back. We're still green here in Brazil. I got excited there because that yellow car has now disappeared. What a shame.
He retired in the pits, I think. Actually, no, he didn't. He might have crashed in the pit lane.
It's not a Ben Shaw thing to do. I'm sure we will find out, though. It has all kicked off here. They know lap 32 is the number. That's when you're going to see everything happen. Maybe Arnaud will lead the stage. So that's okay, Kate. Maybe Arnaud will lead the stage. It'll be lap 31 for that playoff point. And here goes Jake O'Sullivan then. On the inside of Khalifa. Casper, I'm sorry.
Casper.
Yep, and there he goes then. Jake now on a charge. The two soft runners lead this race. Will they come back? Casper and Khalifa. Corey just sat there, isn't he? Of course, when those guys come out the pits, they will be absolutely rapid. And here's Leroy. Oh, half a spin there. Corey will hate having a speed driver behind him, let me tell you. Gareth is up on Mike. I think we might have...
No,
there it is. Safety car. This, Jess Ball, has just given Corey the race win.
I think so too. I think... This is the time that he wants. He can pit if he wants to, but does he want those playoff points? I would say, in this scenario, you're gonna lose out more if you stay out on those hard tyres. Try and go out on some fresh rubber. Softs will make it to the end of this race. Go on softs, I would say, and just have 5 playoff points for the win. But we know Corey. He wants to have as many playoff points as he possibly can. He's sitting on 26 playoff points at the moment. Khalifa has the most this season with 28.
Oh, now
so far.
duping.
He is. Corey,
Yeah, what does Corey do?
out.
He stays out. Okay, there you go. So you know what his intentions are.
He wants the 10 playoff points, Jacko, for the win and the Joker.
Absolutely. And I don't blame him. But I think
What's
it
happened
might.
to Kieran there? He had a moment going in the pits, a bit of a slide there. He was very lucky not to get a speeding penalty.
I'm just going to work this out. Lap 31 is the stage, which I also think will be the restart. So I don't think the drivers are going to be affected by not being able to follow the safety car in. Obviously, that would be a non-mandatory
I think
stop.
it's the last safety car anyway.
It's definitely the last safety car. But I think they will all be able to pit on lap 32, those that need to pit anyway. But my immediate advice to you is to look at this man in P6. Leroy Haslager on those fresh-ish softs. Not as fresh as Michelle and Kieran.
But fresher than Japes and Arnold.
Absolutely. And obviously you've got the hard of Corey, the mediums of Casper and Khalifa, who have looked slow in the last 5 or 10 minutes. Michael O'Keke retires from this race. I think Leroy could have a trick or two up his sleeve. But what about Michelle and Kieran coming through from the back? This is going to be a very rapid bit of a restart that we're going to see here. I think we are in for a classic ending. But I also think Corey's going to win. Carry on.
3 drivers on must-win situations, and one of them is Michel Goris. And if you do win a race, that's it. You're through to the playoffs, and that could shape the championship. The ones in the bubble, the likes of Gareth, Ben Shaw, who's now out the race, Yuri, Ben Harrett, Reyes, the ones who are in that bubble, they could be effective if we see the likes of either Jordan or Michelle win that race, because obviously if they win, they're through automatically to the playoffs.
And I said it at the start of the race as well, where an 11th place finish will put Yuri level on points with Quinn. That's the cut-off line, Danny Quinn. Yuri would knock Quinn into the chase positions. Obviously still one more regular season race to go after this one. So that would be interesting there. And Jordan Lane had a very good race. Do not rule Jordan out. I think he is a potential. Because if it all goes wrong for Corey, who inherits what is race winner elect off of him? Because even though he doesn't have to stop and everyone else has to stop, that is a straight up fact, is he going to get involved in the battles? Are people going to make him involved in the battles? This is far from done. If he gets clean getaway, he'll be fine. But if he doesn't, let's see like a charging Leroy or a Michelle or a Kieran, I think Corey could be in trouble. But we'll see.
Safety car's in.
Well, for those of you that are here, I urge you to strap in. Otherwise you might go through the windscreen or the TV screen. We'll follow Arnaud round. He'll lead his 5th lap of the day, lap number 30. And the next lap, or the next time by, will be the stage, and the lap after that, we can see the mandatory pit stops. Here we go then. Green flag back in the air. Arnaud gets us underway in Brazil as they fan out behind. Arnaud, Jake, and Casper. Into turn 1. Here's Khalifa. Let's focus on Corey. He's already being bullied by Leroy, but they give each other space. It's Gareth who sits behind Corey, and he will know that he's on a joker, but those hards are much older than what Corey has on, who actually has a bit of a run on Leroy down towards turn 4. Is Yuri looking at the back of Gareth? Yes, he is, but he's not doing anything with it. Waze in the walls once again. Kieran has made up 3 positions on the restart. Can he make it 4? Around the outside of Waze.
Oh, they touch!
There's contact. And
they both touch again.
Yeah, I think the second one might have been an intentional steer into the side of him. We'll report back on that post-race.
Ben Harrett had a bit of an issue as well.
Do excuse me, I had to hydrate myself because my voice is actually going. We're still on board with Kieran. Let's get rid of him. He's angry. Arnaud leads. Will Arnaud pick up the stage? We'll go on board with Jake. Oh, he's definitely going to pick up the stage win. So Arnaud, the most stages ever led in JACKOCAR, extends his lead in that category. I will tell you now that that is 29 all-time and another playoff point, which puts him onto 154. Expect pitters this time by Jess Paul.
Yes, this is to that where you can pit, of course. Michelle Goris gets past Jamie Griffiths for 9th place. Penalties may come into effect, though, remember. As I think we've got... Michelle's only on 3 seconds, so he will be ahead of Jamie Griffiths, whatever happens, unless Jamie Griffiths can get past and pull away by quite a margin so far. But as it stands, it will be still Corey the net race leader, but out the ones, the order at the moment, it will be Arnaud and Casper 2nd and 3rd, because Jake O'Sullivan's got a 3-second penalty. As Matt Shep's around, he spun into turn 7 and 8, I believe. So he's gone.
Yeah,
and that's his race over.
Corey is just thinking another 500 metres and he can start to relax. Will the leaders pit? Arnaud, Jake, Casper, they all follow each other in. Khalifa as well. Leroy too. Who leads this lap? It's going to be... Oh, it might have been Corey. We will do a double check on lap 32. Apparently it's still Yuri leading the way. Yuri got past Corey. Did you see that one coming?
No.
Neither did I. Yuri leads in Brazil, and he was telling me the other day how he wants to try and lead a lap. That's exactly what he wants to do. Arnaud will come out the best of the rest. Ben Harrett, Michelle, they both have to pit. Corey does not. Yuri definitely has to. And Jess Paul is going to talk to us.
I think he's doing more you yourself did last week by staying out an extra few laps to make sure that he leads a lap, and I think he wants that playoff point to help him in the playoffs so much, because if he scores well tonight, again, he would drop Danny Quinn out of that 10th spot, and that would put him at the moment above the cut-off line, as Arnold does get past Ways on those fresher tyres, of course. Michelle and Ben still yet to stop. They're going to lose a bunch of time from these drivers that are trying to come through. Jake O'Sullivan gets through as well. It's still Corey that leads. I think he's going to get him past into turn 1. Is he going to lead lap 34? It's Yuri that leads lap...
It's Yuri.
Lap 33. So he needs a lap.
I can confirm as well, it was Corey that led lap 32. So a playoff point for him and a playoff point for Yuri, who got 33. But this now is pretty much Corey on a glory run, because the gap to Arnold, let's let the timings catch up. It's the whole straight. It's the whole between turn 3 and 4. Corey has it in the bag if he can keep it on the road. Do excuse me, the voice is not as good as it was at the start of the evening. Kieran gets past Ways. There's a pit stop. Ignore me. So back to the leaders then. Yuri will be just happy to say he's finally got a playoff point this season.
For a send, and he's through up into third. Arnold is going for glory here tonight. He's on for second place in this race, which will be very good. He's through already though, but he wants to climb up in the regular season.
Look at this though. Ben Harrett lets Jake O'Sullivan through, but he won't let Casper through that easily. Down into the final left-hander here. Through goes Casper finally. Ben Harrett's done his job there. Yuri pits. Corey has 2 to go. And Arnold has made up 2 seconds in that lap. I don't know if it's enough, but he does set the fastest lap. Beaten by Jake, beaten by Casper, beating away Khalifa.
Oh, Ben just hit the back of Casper there. I think Ben is staying out to help the likes of Jake O'Sullivan pull away from the likes of Casper, but Ben has to come in this lap. If he doesn't, he'll get disqualified. But there through goes Khalifa into the Cedar Lago of turn 4. He cuts back on him once again, and he's up into a net third, because Jake's got that penalty. And it looks like Corey Dalton could be on for his 3rd win of the season, and some playoff points to go with it. And I think he'll be leading in terms of playoff points, which could help him in the postseason, and he could qualify straight away to the next round before it's even begun as well. So that could be good for him. But I don't think Arnold's going to catch up to him unless Corey has a moment. But Corey has driven a great job today. I think, obviously, they don't know what their Joker is until they get in the lobby. And I think Corey was glad that it was Brazil, that it was pit. Now, Ben has to pit now.
Jess, let me tell you, I forgot what I was going to tell you. Arnold will not be catching him. But it is 1 lap to go here in Brazil. And Corey Dalton, as Jess tells you, is very much on his way to a 3rd win of the season. It would be his 9th all-time. And he said many a season that has gone by, he is going to win this season. It's going to be his season, all of this. And he has always fallen short. But it has been a different Corey this time around. There's positions changing further back, but all the focus has been on this man. He's kept it sensible, he's kept it safe, he's kept it on the road, and Corey is half a lap away from race win number 9. He's already in the playoffs, the number 69 car, so he's not worried about that. It's all about the playoff points now. It's all about the Joker situation. When was the last time we had a Joker win? Let me tell you, it was season 8. Casper Klein did it at the 4th round in Great Britain. But Corey is round the final corner under the Qatar Airways hoarding. He weaves left, he weaves right, he drives up to the line, and he wins in Brazil. It's a massive night for Corey Dalton. Arnold got that gap down to under 5 seconds, plus a penalty. What a shame for him. It's Khalifa who inherits P2, Casper 3rd, Arnold 4th, Jake O'Sullivan beaten by Leroy on the line. So Jake is 6th, Gareth is 7th, Michelle is 8th. Then it's Jamie Griffiths and Yuri, who will take a P10, but is beaten by Kieran Spears. The man at the moment is Corey Dalton. What a special night for him. The 15th winner of a Joker, a pure Joker as well. 1 stop, 20 laps on the hard is all he needed to be victorious this evening. And I'm sure there'll be celebrations in the suburban Oxford area in the next few minutes. Fireworks going off, I hear. Corey,
What
very,
race.
very happy. Whew.
What a race as well. I think entertaining from start to finish, and Corey knew what he needed to do. I had a feeling he was going to win this one, and he was confident. And even though he struggled at the restart, he knows his pace will come back at him. And we said he has to keep it clean, and he did. And he ended up winning. And the gap now at the front between the likes of Casper and Corey has been cut by 5 points now. So next week's finale, the regular season, is going to get even more spicier.
I hate to correct you. I think that'll be 6 points the gap is cut
6
by.
points. Oh, yeah, my bad. Yeah, because he finished third.
So,
Yeah, I forgot about that.
So the gap is actually 5 between them. So 5 points to decide the regular season title. Don't forget, Khalifa is very much in that as well. And the other one, Ben Shaw, in the regular season fight. But I don't think he's in a position where he can really
No, he's not.
do much with that. So it is, for the final time, Corey, who beats Khalifa and Casper on the podium. It's an all ERT showing there. In fact, they inherit P4 as well with Arnaud. Leroy completes another top 5 finish this season. Jake drops out after showing tremendous speed in portions of the race. And of course, Gareth, another top 10 for him. Michel Gorius, a top 10 on his return from watching Ajax in the Europa League. And Kieran and Jamie Griffiths round out the top 10. I don't have enough time for the rest, but there they are.
They're irrelevant.
They are absolutely very much irrelevant. There you go. Well, I can't say what track it is. I'll be back next week because I'm not driving the next track. Jess might be here. Owen might be here. It might be Bazza. It certainly won't be Matt Lester.
We won't know until next week.
No, I sort of make it up on the day now. But that was Brazil. Another classic, I dare say. But unless Jess has anything to add, we are going to round it up here. And
make sure you tune in next week.
Make sure you tune in on Tuesday as well for the Kia series, because it's lights out in Las Vegas, so that'll be good. But other than that, we shall leave you to it. Thank you very much for watching. We will see you next week. Goodbye.